Yes, here we are, back once again. It's another day. It is time once again to share a few moments of our existence together. Here we are with day 23 of 31 days of October and learning English in 2019. Here we are. Oh my goodness. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Well, are you happy? I really do hope you are happy today. I hope you are feeling good. I hope you are feeling wonderful, in fact, because we are here together again live on YouTube, and it is myself, Mr. Duncan. For those who don't know who I am, I will tell you right now. I teach English on YouTube and I have been doing so for quite a few years. In fact, this month I will be celebrating my 13th year on YouTube. So that is the reason why I'm here. Also, I am here every day as well. Every single day, 2 p.m. UK time from Monday to Friday. Saturday, 12 p.m. just after midday, and on Sunday 2 p.m. as well. All of those are UK time, so don't forget to check the time difference in your country. Now, I suppose it's worth mentioning at the moment that next week the clocks will be changing here in the UK. And I know quite a few countries, quite a few people around the world will also be changing their clocks. So at this time of year, we normally turn our clocks back 1 hour. So that is what we will be doing next week. I believe it is the 26th of October. The clocks will be going back. So that will mean that my live stream will appear at a slightly different time. However, my actual broadcast times will not change. So here in the UK, the time will be the same. So even though it's a different time, maybe where you are, it will still be 2 p.m. UK time for the broadcast of my live stream during the week. And of course, I'm always at a slightly different time on Saturday, because I normally go into town. Of course, all of that will change in November. There will be a big change because my 31 days will be over. But the big question is, what will I be doing in November? Ooh. So I suppose we should mention the subject that we've been talking about. Yes, I suppose I can't do this without mentioning this particular subject. It would appear that it's not happening. So it looks as if the end of this month will no longer be Brexit Day. It will be just Mr. Duncan's YouTube anniversary. So it would appear that the UK is no longer leaving the European Union on the 31st of October. It looks as if it's not happening after yesterday's vote. So there will be no discussion about leaving. There will be nothing mentioned. And it looks as if we won't be talking about this again until next year. So it would appear at the moment that they are going to postpone this until the end of January next year. Of course, there might also be a general election before then as well. So lots of things going on here in the UK. It would appear at the moment that there are things happening all around the world. Have you noticed? Mr. Steve used a good word last night when we were sitting at the dinner table. Tumult. Tumult. It is a very tumultuous time. A lot of chaos, a lot of disorder, many people unhappy with the way their governments are treating them. So that's what's happening at the moment around the world. Here in the UK, Well, I'm okay, not too bad. The weather outside, what is the weather doing? It's not too bad, you can see. It's a little misty. This morning when I woke up, it was very foggy outside. Very misty. So it isn't as bright as yesterday. We had quite a nice day here in the UK yesterday. But today, it's a little bit gloomy. It really does feel as if autumn is in the air, however. Meanwhile, back here in the kitchen, what is happening today? We are talking about kitchen things because every Wednesday during October, I am with you in the kitchen. As you can see, there are lots of things here. I will be taking a very close look at some of the kitchen things. And there you can see them now. Kitchen things. We are talking today all about these particular items. Things that are useful to have around the kitchen. Lots of gadgets, devices, things to make your life much easier. Now, we often call these labour-saving devices. So if something is labour-saving, it means it can save you time and also effort as well. So we will be doing that later on. That is what is happening. However, there is an even bigger thing I must talk about right now because we have the live chat. Hello to you on the live chat. So who is first? I wonder. Let's have a look, shall we? I'm just going to look at the live chat right now. Oh, well done once again to Grace Chin. You have a very fast finger. That's all I can say. Well done, Grace. Also, Tanya is here. And Yaman, Luis Mendez. Hello, Luis. Nice to see you here again. Anna Kobe, Eric. Hi to all of you. And a special congratulations to Grace Chin. You are first again on the live chat. Congratulations to you. Well done, you are first today. Also to Belarusia. Hello, Belarusia. I've noticed that you've changed your account on YouTube. I don't know why. Maybe there is a reason. I don't know. Maybe you are at another place. Maybe you are at work at the moment. Hello, Rahul. How are you today? I'm okay, and I hope you are good as well. Louis, hello Mr. Duncan, hello Noemi. I always worry that I mispronounce your name. Do I pronounce your name correctly? I don't know. Mika is joining me in the kitchen as well. Hello Mika, nice to see you here. Also Joao Louis London. So does that mean you are in London? Oh, hello to you. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Good afternoon. Ram Zanura is here. So many people are here today. Theo, hello, viewers and Mr. Duncan from sunny Athens. Well, you are very lucky. You have sunshine today. Sadly, here in the UK, we have no sunshine. It is looking very dull and dismal outside. Louis, yes, it's kitchen time. Maybe one week when I'm in the kitchen, I might actually do some cooking. However, I won't be doing any cooking today. Hello, Mr. Duncan, Morella. Thank you very much, Irene. I'm not cooking anything today. However, I will be cooking up a fun lesson. I hope so. I will stir my ingredients and hopefully the result will be satisfying for everyone. Hello also to Christina. Hello Christina, nice to see you here. I haven't had my lunch yet, so I actually haven't eaten today at all. So now and again you might actually hear my stomach complaining. So you might hear my stomach growling. Growling like a dog. Was that my neighbour's dog? I wonder. Hello, RHS. Buenos Aires is here. Hello, Buenos Aires. Hello to you. Hello, Louis. And also, Christina says, I can't say the word. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say it. I refuse to say this. I'm so tired of this. Nearly 3.5 years we've been talking about this. It's driving me crazy. Rosa, also Ibrahim. So many devices in the kitchen. There are. Now you might not realise just how many things you have in your own kitchen, because normally you put them away. Normally they are stored in your cupboards around your kitchen. So there might be more things in your kitchen than you realise, especially over the years, because quite often we will buy things and then over the years we will put them in the cupboard. Maybe it is something that we use quite often, but then suddenly we stop using it. So we put it away. We put it into storage in the kitchen. Hello also to Salad. Hello to Kylie. Hello to you. Also Tan Chang and Rosa is here. Hello Rosa, nice to see you here today as well. Lots of things to talk about. Here are 2 words that I've been asked to explain, so I'm going to right now. So the words are accept and accept. 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 So you can see they are almost the same, but not quite. There are some differences, not only in the spelling, but also the pronunciation and the definition as well. So first of all, accept. If you accept something, it means you willingly take something that is offered to you. You accept. So something that is offered to you, or something that comes your way, and maybe you have a choice, you accept the thing. You agree to it. So if you accept something, it means you agree, you accept, you agree and understand the thing that is being explained to you. So maybe you accept an idea. So if you accept an idea, it means you believe it. So we have the word accept, and underneath, accept. Accept means to push away or to discount. So maybe a thing that you don't want to include, you accept it. You accept. So accept that person. So you can come to my party, except you. You cannot come. So accept is to agree to something, to take something as true, and then accept is something that you disregard or put aside or reject. You accept. Accept. So all of you can come to the party except you. You cannot. I'm sorry. I hope that helps. Now, in my life, I have had to make a choice whether or not to accept an offer. So when I first started doing my lessons on YouTube way back in 2006, I had a big choice that I had to make, because many people offered a place on their video network, but I turned all of them down because I wanted to have control of my own work. So some of the very big networks on YouTube in the early days when they were just forming, they actually contacted me many times trying to get me to work for them. And every time I refused. So I did not accept their offer. So if you don't accept, you refuse. So you refuse someone's offer. You do not accept their offer. You refuse it. So over the years, I have had many offers. Many people have offered to allow me to make videos for their network, but I've always turned them down because I know as soon as I agree to work for them, they will tell me what to do and how to do my lessons. But of course, I like to have control of what I do, and that's the reason why I have never done that. So you will never see me on any other channel or any other network. But if you do, then I shouldn't be there. I don't belong there, okay? There is only one Mr. Duncan YouTube channel. Hello to Rosa. Rosa, nice to see you here. Belarusia, I am not at home. I am using my mobile phone now. That's the reason why. I thought so. I thought your name and also your icon looked different. DM Top Tech says your t-shirt looks very happy. This is my old t-shirt. I've had this t-shirt for many, many years. In fact, I first bought this, I think it was around 2007. I bought this t-shirt. Palmyra, Mr. Duncan, do you have 2 taps? One for cold and one for hot? Yes, we do. Although here in my kitchen, I have 2 taps, but they go into one main tap. So the controls are separate. However, they both go into one individual tap. And we call that type of tap a mixer tap. So if you have a mixer tap, it means you can control the hot and cold water coming out of one tap or one outlet. I hope that helps you. Hello also to Business. Hello Business, watching in, I think it's Vietnam. Am I right? I think so. Did you enjoy yesterday's lesson? I did something a little different yesterday. I talked about, I suppose it is a very serious topic, protesting and demonstrating, going out into the street to show your anger or your disagreement of something. So I hope you enjoyed that yesterday. It was a little bit different, and I know sometimes I like to cover difficult subjects or maybe topics that some people might feel uncomfortable with. But it is all part of life, and I suppose it is also part of the English language. Louis says, it is so true. Over time, your cupboards are full of surprises. This happens. In fact, can I show you something? Over there, can you see that door over there? That door, behind that door, there are all sorts of things. Some of the things behind there are things that we haven't used for a long time. So behind that door, there are many things hidden away, many surprises. And that's what happens over time. Normally, when you live in the same house for many years, you start to collect lots of things that you don't use anymore. Some of the things are useful, but maybe you've forgotten about them. Hello to Linny. Hello, Linny Lee. Hello, and thank you for your owl as well. Christina, I have to compliment you. You have a very tidy kitchen. This kitchen, I know I've said this before, this kitchen needs a lot of work doing to it. This is a terrible kitchen. And I know you don't believe me, but on camera, this kitchen looks lovely. So quite often when you film something, it normally looks better than it does in real life. A little bit like me, really. So this kitchen needs a lot of renovation work doing. It needs completely changing. Everything in this kitchen is old and in some cases worn out. A little bit like me again. Ugh. Hello to Ian. Hello, Ian. Nice to meet you, the live chat, and I am glad to see everybody here. You are welcome, Ian. No problem. Pedro is here. Thank you, Pedro, for joining me in the kitchen today. Thank you very much. Fabiana, it's great that you include current topics in the news. Well, that is one of the things I love about doing live lessons. The thing about live lessons is that I can talk about things that are happening right now, at this moment. So that's one of the reasons why I will often mention this subject. Even though a lot of people are really sick and tired of listening to people talking about it. However, it is still an interesting topic. So yes, one of the lovely things about doing a live stream is you can talk about current events, things that happen right now and things that are going on in the world at this very moment. We are going to have a little break, and then when we come back, we're going to have a look at some of these wonderful items that are around my kitchen. Look, can you see all of the things I'm going to show you? Not only that, I'm going to name them as well. But for now, we are going to go back in time. This very day, in 2013, I did a special series of lessons all the way through October. And now we are going to go right back in time to this very day, 6 years ago. Yes. And you might notice that I look a little bit younger. Hello and good morning. Welcome to day 23 of 31 days of Dunktober. How are you on this new day? I hope you are fine and dandy. Well, it's all back to normal today. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's studio tour, and thank you very much for your kind messages, some of which we will take a look at later. The weather right now is not too good here in England. Today is a showery day. This means that there are sudden bursts of heavy rain. Of all the weather conditions that exist, I think I dislike the rain most of all. There is nothing worse than getting caught in a rainstorm. You get soaked to the skin. The rain has soaked right through your clothes. Luckily today, I have my brolly with me. Heavy rain can be described as falling like cats and dogs. What a strange phrase. Oh, the weather is terrible. It's raining cats and dogs. It's pouring down. It's raining buckets. It's chucking it down. Do you get much rain where you live? Do you like being out in the rain? A wet thing can be described as soggy. It has become sodden. It is wet through. It is soaked. It is drenched. It is saturated. It is wringing wet. If you ever mention England to anyone, there is a good chance that they will mention the rain. Of course, it does not always rain here in England, but we do have a fair share of it. The wettest seasons of the year are spring and early autumn, although we can sometimes get very wet summers here too. Fortunately for me, this summer has been quite glorious and not too wet at all. Plenty of chances to go out and about with my camera. Ah, what a lovely summer it was. It was. It was. It was. It was. It was. The umbrella has to be one of the most brilliant inventions ever. It's such a clever device. Of course, it is not infallible or perfect. On a windy day, the umbrella can get caught by the breeze and turn inside out. Or even worse, blow away completely.
I hope you enjoyed that. We went back in time there with one of my full English and super duper 31 days of Dunktober lessons that was recorded, can you believe it, 6 years ago. Thank you for your lovely compliments. A lot of people saying, Mr. Duncan, you haven't aged at all. Thanks a lot. Isn't that lovely? Thanks for your support. And your lovely words as well. Thanks a lot. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yes, during 2013 I did a special series of recorded lessons. However, this year I'm doing live streams every day. Every single day you can catch me on YouTube during October. Something very special to celebrate my 13th year. Louis, I like the rain. It is not disturbing to me at all. After all, it's just water. I'm not a big fan of rain, I'll be honest with you. I don't like going outside on a rainy day. I find it rather annoying, especially when it's cold and raining and maybe the wind is blowing at the same time. I don't like that sort of weather. Guadeloupe is here. Also, thank you very much to Palmyra. We had a special lesson, a taste of Halloween, and I haven't learnt a new word. I have learnt a new word. Turnip. A turnip is a type of vegetable. It has a very pungent smell, very strong smell. So yes, Halloween is coming up at the end of this month. I haven't forgotten it. But we will be talking about that a little bit nearer the date. After all, it is only the 23rd of October at the moment. We still have a long way to go before the end of the month. So, thank you very much for joining me today. We are talking about things that you find in the kitchen, useful items. So there are lots of useful things in the kitchen, and here is the most obvious one. So first of all, I am going to start with the most obvious thing, and I think that everyone has one of these in their kitchen. Bing! We are talking stove or cooker. So when we say stove or cooker. So both of these words basically mean the same thing, to be honest. You can say something is cooking on the stove, or I will boil some water on the cooker. So these two words are general terms for a thing that you cook with. So you can cook inside and also you can cook on top. So there is a stove. Quite often here in the UK we will use the word cooker. So you will often hear people use the word cooker. So when they say cooker, they mean this. I need to turn the cooker on. I need to boil some water. So you will put something on the stove or on the cooker. Someone mentioned the other day, they said, Mr. Duncan, it's very strange. Your cooker has two things at the front. Yes, for some reason, don't ask me why, this particular cooker has two ovens. So it has a bottom oven. So that's the main oven where we normally cook most of our food. And then you have another oven there. But the clever thing about that one is that it has two uses. So you can use this here as an oven, but also you can have a grill as well. So you can cook things in there just like an oven. Or if you want to grill something, if you want to just cook something from the top, you can grill the thing as well. So this particular oven has a lot of clever uses. And then at the bottom, you have the main oven, the oven that is used for cooking the big things like meat and extra large pizzas. Ooh, very nice. Can I tell you an interesting story about this cooker? Because just before we moved into this house, way back in 2013, in January 2013, about a week before we moved in, the previous owners of this house, they had to replace this because theirs blew up. It stopped working. So just before we moved in, they had to go out and they had to buy another cooker because the one that was there before blew up. It stopped working. However, they didn't buy a new cooker. They bought an old one. So this is actually a second-hand cooker. So it isn't new. Although, having said that, I think it's quite old. I think it's a very old cooker. So this cooker, I think, might be maybe 25 years old. It's quite old. But it still works. The only thing I don't like is that it uses electricity, not gas, because we don't have gas here. So unfortunately, in our houses, we don't have a gas supply, sadly. So we have to do all of our cooking with electricity, which is quite a pain, really, when you think about it. Naja Belly says, yes, my cooker cooks very well for me, often. It sounds as if you spend a lot of your time in the kitchen cooking food. So there is the first word. Now, I suppose when you are doing things in the kitchen, you have two choices. You can do something automatically or by hand. So nowadays, many people have lots of great devices, things to help them do all of their chores and the things that they have to carry out much easier. So quite often we have things that carry out tasks or help you to do your chores quickly by being automatic. For example, over there you can see my dishwasher. So that is the thing that I use to wash the dishes. So if I'm feeling really lazy, I will just put all of the dirty dishes, all of the dirty things in the dishwasher. So that will do it automatically. It is an automatic device. So that is very useful. When I lived at home with my family, we didn't have a dishwasher. Our dishwasher was our mother. She was the dishwasher. And of course, you can do things by hand. When you do things by hand, it means you do them manually. So if you do something manually, it means you are doing it by hand. So quite often, people do their washing. Maybe they wash their dishes or maybe their clothes. They will do it by hand. They will manually do it. So 2 interesting words there, automatic and by hand. Automatic means the thing is done for you. By hand means you have to do it yourself. Let's have a look at some items in the kitchen. Neo says, I love to bake cookies. Yes. Eric, I like your idea there. This cooker is actually older than many of the people watching the live stream right now. Isn't that amazing? You're right, yes. This is a beautiful stove or cooker. It is nice, although it's quite old. And one of the problems with this particular cooker is that it uses electricity. So it isn't very economical. When you are cooking your food, you will use a lot of electricity. Hello to Abdu. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Can you cook fish and chips in your cooker? Yes, I can. Yes, we can cook fish. In fact, quite often on Sunday, Mr. Steve and myself, we will have fish. So normally we will have salmon on Sunday, and we always cook it in there. We cook it in the main oven. Let's have a look at some items. I'm going over there, so excuse me, I have to fetch something. So be patient. I will be back. Here is something I showed you a few days ago. I will show it again very quickly. This is a kettle. Kettle. I love this word. So, kettle. It is a container. Quite often, it is used for carrying water or storing water, or of course, you can put water in an electric kettle and boil the water so you can make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. So, kettle. It's a great word, kettle. So I suppose most houses, many houses, if not all houses, have something with which to boil water. So this particular thing works using electricity. However, you can also put some water on the stove and boil the water in a saucepan. So yes, kettle. So there is our first object on today's live stream. This is a very old kettle. We bought this kettle in around about 1990 or 1991. So we've had this kettle for a very long time. It's almost 30 years old, this kettle. Can you believe it? And it still works perfectly. Made in Poland, it says on the bottom. So this kettle was manufactured in Poland. Kettle. What shall we look at next? Ooh, here is something that I use every day. Something I use every day. Ding! Toaster. But where is the toaster? Excuse me, I have to find my toaster. There it is. Hello, toaster. Nice to see you again. So there is my toaster. This is the thing that I use for toasting my bread. Ooh, I've dropped my paper, excuse me. Let's try again. Toaster, there it is. So a toaster is something you use for toasting your bread. You can put your bread in there and then it will slowly turn your bread into toast. And to be honest with you, I love toast. There is nothing nicer than some fresh hot toast with butter. Lovely. Toaster. I have one in my kitchen. Do you have one in yours? It's a live stream, it's a live stream. We are as live can be today. We are. Let's have a look. What else? Oh, here we go. The next word is blender. Blender. And no, before you say anything, it is not my Chinese girlfriend. Blender. Oh. Here is my blender. Hello, blender. How have you been keeping? So there we go, my blender. Now this is a very useful piece of equipment. This is what we call a multifunctional device. It has many uses. It is multifunctional. So a blender can be used for making things that you can drink. You can make a milkshake in here. You can also make soup. If you want to blend vegetables to make a nice healthy smoothie, you can. So this particular thing is very useful for making drinks or soup. You can blend things. So when we say blend, it means mix. So you blend everything together. You mix it. You make many things become one thing. So you might blend tomatoes and vegetables and water to make soup. You will blend the ingredients in a blender. So there it is. That is one of the devices, and I think Mr. Steve's mum gave this to us. And it's really old. So I think this is about 15 years old, this device. And I think we've only used it about twice since Steve's mum gave it to us. So there it is, blender. And in a few moments, I will put this back into the cupboard. And I will never use it again. True, it's true. This is one of the things that is stored in the cupboard. And it is unlikely to be ever used again. My blender. Oh my goodness, it is already 10 minutes away from 3 o'clock. I can't believe it. Hello, Guadeloupe. Hello to Christina. A very big blender. It is useful in the kitchen. You can make lots of things. Yes, something that is multifunctional has many uses. What else are we going to look at? Ooh, the next thing we are going to look at is something I do use quite often. Coffee press. The word is coffee press. But what is a coffee press, I hear you ask? Well, I'm going to show you. There it is. So there is a coffee press. You can use this to make instant coffee whilst still using ground beans. So this is a simple way of making a nice, strong, fresh cup of coffee. And it almost tastes as good as the coffee that you might buy in Starbucks. So a coffee press. I think we also call it French coffee, if I'm not mistaken. So this can also be called a French press or French coffee press. So quite often in a coffee shop, you might see these, but more often than not, if you go into a coffee shop, they will often use a machine to grind up the coffee. But sometimes you will have these given to you at your table and you can press the coffee yourself. So this is called a coffee press and it's very useful for making a very nice, strong, fresh cup of coffee. Something I love very much. That was a coffee press. What else? Oh, here's another interesting thing. Something very useful. Can opener. Can opener. You can also say tin opener. So a can opener is used for opening a can. A very useful item. And there are many different types of can opener. So a can opener can be manual. So you use the can opener manually. And of course there are automatic can openers. So if you want to open a can quickly, you can use an electric can opener. Can opener. And I will show you what that is. Right now, there it is. There is my lovely brand new can opener. Well, in fact, I say new, but in fact, I think this is a couple of years old. So there is a can opener. Very useful for opening cans of food. We can also say tin. So instead of can, you can also say tin. So a tin opener, can opener. This, once again, is a very useful thing to have around your kitchen. I've just realised I'm running out of time. My goodness. So I might stay a little longer today. Ooh. The next thing I'm going to show you, again, something that is very similar to a blender, but it isn't the same. Something called a whisk. Whisk. That is interesting. Whisk. Whisk can be used as a noun or a verb. So the thing itself, and there it is. Whisk. So this thing is used for mixing. Ooh, that's a horrible sound. So there it is. Whisk. So this is good for mixing liquids. Maybe if you are baking a cake, you might have to mix the ingredients. So you will use a whisk. Whisk. Very interesting. And quite often we use that for mixing. Of course, you can get the electric version of this. So this can also be operated by electricity. However, this one is old-fashioned and you have to do it by hand. You have to use your hand. Whisk. I like that one very much. What is next, Mr. Duncan? Oh, as you know, I like eating potatoes very much, and this particular thing comes in very useful when you want to have your potatoes with butter and you want to crush the potatoes. You want to make them into potato champ, which is a type of French dish. Masher. Where is the masher? Here is the masher. So this is the thing we use for mashing the potatoes. We want to make the potatoes soft and creamy. So you will use a masher. Masher. Do, do, do. So that's a fairly basic item. But once again, very useful. It looks as if I'm in prison. Oh no, I'm in prison. Oh no. How will I ever escape from this terrible prison? So, masher. Next one. This is very good for mixing things together. Funnel. Funnel. Something that is useful for pouring liquids from a container, or maybe things like flour or sugar or grain. Funnel. And there is the funnel. A funnel is something that's very useful to have around your house because you can use it for all sorts of things. So if you have to put lots of things into a container, you can use a funnel. Funnel. And then once again, this word can actually be used as both a noun and a verb. So you use the funnel and you funnel something through it. So funnel means to pass through a certain thing. And this is also called funnel. So this can be used as both a noun and verb. Oh. I don't know about you, but I always find my kitchen days are very busy indeed. Next, here is something that Mr. Steve's sister bought for us. A grilled sandwich maker. Now, I don't know about you, but I enjoy having snacks. I like to make myself a tasty snack here in the kitchen. So quite often I will have a grilled sandwich. So I will put some cheese on some bread and then I will put it in the grilled sandwich maker. A grilled sandwich maker. Many people have these nowadays. They can make very delicious meals, very delicious snacks quite quickly. This is rather heavy. So here it is. This is so heavy. It's really heavy. So there it is. A grilled sandwich maker. So what you do, you put the bread inside. You put the bread in there. And then you close the lid. And then inside it will get hot. And everything will cook inside. So if you put cheese inside some bread, the cheese will melt and you will have a delicious toasted sandwich. So this is actually a gift that Mr. Steve's sister gave to us about 3 years ago. And we do use it, yes. Sometimes when a person buys you a gift, quite often you won't use it. You will put it in the cupboard and forget all about it. However, this has come in very useful, especially at night when I fancy a midnight snack. Lovely. Another one for you. Another useful tool to have around the kitchen, sieve. Sieve. This word looks very strange. It has a very strange spelling and it is pronounced sieve. Sieve.
Where is the sieve? It is
Here is my sieve. Do you like it?
So a sieve is a very useful item if you want to strain or remove small objects from liquid. You can put things through a sieve, like flour or grain or rice. You can put the rice in there and then all the water will flow away. So your rice will be nice and firm. So this is a very useful thing, a very simple object. But I've always noticed that quite often simple objects are actually the most useful things. So this is called a sieve. Sieve. There it is. And this one is very old. In fact, I think this belonged to one of Mr. Steve's grandparents. So this is actually quite an old thing, but it still works perfectly. Sieve. And once again, you can use this as both a noun and verb. Maybe you're making a cake, maybe you are following a certain recipe. You might need this if you have to weigh something. So maybe you have to sort out the quantities of flour or milk or butter, something you have to add to a recipe. These are very useful. Scales. Scales. And here are my scales. So scales, the things you use to weigh items, maybe ingredients that you are putting in a recipe. Flour, sugar, butter, things like that. You need to weigh. You need to make sure that you are putting the right quantity in your recipe. So as you mix things together, it is often important to get the quantity correct. And to help you, you can use scales. So these come in very useful indeed. Back to the live chat quickly. The sieve is not a net. No, it isn't really a net. However, you can use other things as a sieve. So you can probably use certain items as a sieve, maybe a piece of cloth or something like that. Can also be used as a sieve. Scales are also used in mathematics as well. Yes, when you want to measure the difference between one thing and another. If you want to balance something, you will often use scales. This lesson is quite useful. Thank you very much, Eric. I'm glad you think so. Here is another one. Oh, here's an interesting word. What does it mean? Grater. Grater. So when we say grater, we mean a thing that is used for chopping. But quite often, we will chop very small pieces off a certain item. So maybe a vegetable or maybe a piece of cheese. A grater. So a grater is a very useful tool to have in the kitchen. And this is it. So there is my grater. So this particular thing is a cheese grater. But you can also use this for other things as well. You can grate vegetables. You can also grate carrots. So not only for cheese, although to be honest with you, in this house, we normally use this for cheese. So this is a grater. But most people refer to this as a cheese grater because for most of the time people will use this for grating cheese. So it's very useful
for getting small pieces of a certain thing to put on your food. So you will press the cheese and move it downward, and lots of small pieces of cheese will come out. So this is called a grater, or more commonly, a cheese grater. So we often use this for grating cheese. You can get small shreds of cheese if you use one of these. Oh, it's 3:05, everyone. I will be going soon, don't worry. Here is another one, something very useful if you are frying food, especially if you are making fries or chips. So this is a chip strain. Strain, very interesting word. This is very similar to a sieve, but the holes are much larger. And I will show you. Let me show you right now. So this is very useful if you are frying food. So this is called a chip strain. And as you can see, the holes are very large. So this is used for frying. So quite often you will put potatoes or chips inside, and you will fry the potatoes inside. And then you will take this item out from the fat, and all of the chips will be inside. And then you can get rid of all the fat, all of that horrible, unhealthy fat, and then pour the chips out. However, Mr. Steve uses this for a completely different reason. Mr. Steve uses this to strain his damsons when he's making jam. So Mr. Steve uses this not for frying, but for making jam. I will show you the word again. Stay. Chip strain. It is used for draining fat from chips. Or in Mr. Steve's case, he gets all of the stones out of his damsons when he's making jam. Very nice, Mr. Duncan. How lovely. Next. Tongs. Now this sounds like a little tongue, but it's pronounced differently. So when we say tongue, 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 tongue. And we normally say a pair of tongs. So we always use the plural for this particular item. You will always see it used in the plural sense. Yep. And there they are, a pair of tongs. And these are very useful for picking things up. So maybe you are cooking something in the oven and you want to turn it over. You can use a pair of tongs to turn the hot thing over so you don't burn yourself. So this is something very useful. You might use it when you are frying food. So if you are frying a piece of meat, you can turn the meat over very easily. So these are tongs, a pair of tongs. And there is the word again, tongs. Many people use these in the kitchen when they want to protect their hands. When a person does not want to get their hands burnt, they will use a pair of tongs. Oh, something else now. This is something that is used when you are rolling pastry. If you are making a cake or something that needs to be flat, you will use one of these. Rolling pin. rolling pin. There it is. And I will show you the item. Ding! There it is. So this is a very useful item, a heavy object, something that is used for making a thing flat. So maybe you have some pastry and you want to make it flat. You will use the rolling pin to make the pastry flat and thin. Another use for this is especially for the women. So maybe your husband has been out drinking with his friends and he comes home very late. You might be waiting at the door with the rolling pin. Where have you been? Do you know what time it is? I've been waiting here all night for you to come back home. So a rolling pin can come in very useful, especially if you want to punish your husband. I can't believe I just said that. Here is another thing. Squeezer. Ooh, a little beep beep. Squeezer. A thing that we use to squeeze. So if you want to get juice from an orange or a lemon or maybe grapefruit, you will use a squeezer. Squeezer. It's a great word. And here is the item. So this is a squeezer. We can also call this a juicer as well. So this is used for extracting juice, quite often from an orange or another juicy fruit such as a lemon or maybe grapefruit. A lot of people nowadays eat grapefruit. Having said that, you don't see them very often anymore in this country. You don't see grapefruit. They used to be very popular when I was growing up. So there it is. You can use this for squeezing juice out of fruit. So first of all, you will cut the fruit in half and then you will press the fruit on top. It will squeeze all the juice out and then you can pour it away. You can pour it into a glass or into a recipe that you're making. There it is. Beep, 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 beep. A juicer! You've got to have a juicer in your house. Here is a big thing now. Ooh, a lot of people have these, even though there are one or two people who feel that these might be unsafe. Some people believe that this particular item is dangerous or maybe hazardous if you stand very close to it. So there is the word microwave. Microwaves have been around for many years. I remember when they first came on the market. I can remember when microwaves became very popular in this country. So I think they were popular, first of all, in the United States. And then eventually over here, we got them as well. Microwaves, or some people call them microwave ovens. So a microwave oven, or you can simply say microwave. You put some food in the microwave. And once again, you can use this as both a noun and a verb. So you put it in the microwave, you will microwave the food. Where is the microwave? Oh, there it is. So here is my microwave. You can see it. My microwave oven. This is very old. I think this is about maybe 13 years old. So it's quite old, this one. And it was also very cheap. So this behind me is a microwave. There we go. A microwave. We could also call this a microwave oven as well. Although a lot of people don't like microwave ovens. They think they are dangerous. I love that sound because that sound tells me that my food is ready. Mika says, I can't live without using the microwave. David says, drunk husbands must be very afraid of the rolling pin. I think so. Orange juice is delicious, but sometimes not easy to digest. That is true. If you eat an orange, or if you squeeze the orange juice, quite often it can upset your stomach. So you can actually get indigestion from drinking fresh juice. I think so. Javi2 says, hi everybody. I have had the same microwave oven for some years. So when we say some years, it means many, many years. So a microwave oven is something I couldn't live without. I'll be honest with you, sometimes when I'm feeling lazy, yes, I know, it is most of the time. Most of the time I feel lazy. I will use the microwave oven to heat some food up. Christina, the microwave is a very useful device for making fast food. I think so. Although there are people who don't trust them. They believe that they are dangerous or hazardous. Something that is hazardous. On top of the microwave, you can see the bread bin. Now, quite often we use the word bin to mean a place where we put our rubbish. However, in this particular word, it means storage. So quite often we will bin something. We will throw it away. We will dispose of something in the bin. However, this does not refer to rubbish. This refers to food. A place where you store your bread is a bread bin. And there it is. So there is my lovely bread bin, and you can see inside the bread bin there is a fresh loaf of bread ready for me to eat as soon as I finish this lesson. It's true. Bread bin. Sometimes you have to clean the kitchen. Quite often the floor will get dirty. In fact, I think it's safe to say the most dirty and the dirtiest place and the place that gets the dirtiest is the floor. Especially in this house, because quite often we will come in from the outside and the first place we will come to is the kitchen. So quite often a lot of dirt will come in from outside. So in this kitchen, the floor is always getting dirty. So you have to use one of these. Mop. I love that word. It's so simple. Mop. So if you have to clean your floor, you will often use one of these. Mop. You will use a mop. And it just so happens I have my mop over here. So here is my mop. It is ready to clean the floor at the weekend. When Mr. Steve keeps coming home with his dirty feet, I have to clean the floor with this mop. Like this. Of course, normally you will use hot water. So you will put this into some hot water and then you will squeeze the water out and then you will clean your floor with it. Mop. Very useful. A very useful thing. Very simple, but useful. Can I let you in on a secret? I hate mopping the floor. Mopping. So that is the action of using one of these. When you mop, you are mopping the floor. You use a mop. So once again, this can be used as both a noun and a verb. This is a mop. You mop the floor. You are doing the mopping. By the way, the word mop means soak or soak up. So if you mop something, it means you are removing the moisture. You mop. Maybe you spill some soup on the floor, so you mop the soup up. You absorb the soup normally into a cloth. Mop. I love that word. By the way, if you put it upside down, it looks like some strange word. But if you put it that way round, it says mop. Finally, we have a mystery object. Ooh, Mr. Duncan. Here is something very unusual. I wonder what this is. Do you know what we use this for? It looks like some sort of torture device. Maybe it is something for piercing your ear. Ow. What is the mystery object? Does anyone know? Anyone know what this is? This is a very strange item. But what is it? It has a particular use. A very particular use. What is it? The live chat is very busy. I did not know the word mop. I have never seen it, but now I do. Oh, very good. I'm pleased to hear that this is being useful to you. Thank you very much. I'm so glad that this lesson has been useful to you. But what is this? What is this strange thing? Does anyone know? What do you use this for? Eleanor says, do you use it to remove the stones from cherries? Yes. And also you can use this to remove the stones from olives as well. So this thing is actually called a olive pitter. So look at that strange word, pitter. So if you pit something, it means you take the centre out of it. So an olive pitter. Of course, you can also use this for cherries as well. So this can be called an olive pitter. Also, it can be called a cherry pitter. So if you pit something, it means you take the centre out. You are removing the stone or the centre of a type of food. There we go. So you put the olive in there, or maybe the cherry in there, and you just press, and then the middle will pop out. Very useful thing. Simple, but useful. An olive pitter. Of course, I have to keep my kitchen looking lovely and clean. I have to use washing up liquid. Now, washing up liquid is something you use to wash your plates, your dishes, and your knives and forks. So the things that you use to eat with or to cook with, you can often wash them by hand using washing up liquid. And I will show you a bottle that I have over here. So there you can see a bottle of washing up liquid. And you can see on the bottle, you can see the actual words there. Washing up liquid. I hope you can see that clearly. So on the front there, you can see the word washing up liquid. So when you do the washing up, it means you clean the plates, you clean all of the dirty things. You use washing up liquid. So if you don't use this, if you don't use the dishwasher, you will use this instead. Washing up liquid. Beep, 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 beep. Another thing you can use around your kitchen, especially on your surfaces. So the things that you use to cut your bread or cut your meat, prepare your food, we call those the surfaces, the things that you do things on. You prepare food on the surface. We can also call this a counter. So this can also be described as a counter. And this is the countertop or the surface. And we can also use surface cleaner. So this is something you use around the kitchen to clean your surfaces, to make sure that they are clean and hygienic. So when you prepare your food, there is nothing bad on the surface that will affect the food and make you ill. There we go. Surface cleaner. I will show you the surface cleaner that I have. So here is some surface cleaner that I use. You can see there. Now this particular thing is ecological. Ooh, very nice. So this is multi-surface cleaner, and this is used for cleaning all of my surfaces, all of the tops, the worktops and the counters in the kitchen. And this is very useful because you can spray with this. So this lets you spray. It's very useful. So if you want to clean around your kitchen, if you want to clean the surfaces or the worktops, you will use surface cleaner. And there are many different types of surface cleaner on the market. Another one. Oh, we are almost at the end. Wow. Over there you can see the dishwasher. If you use a dishwasher, you will also use these dishwasher tablets. Now, it's very interesting to see this word, tablet. Quite often we think of a tablet as something that you eat. However, please do not eat these because you will become very ill. So, here we go. Dishwasher tablets. And there you can see the words now on the screen. Dishwasher tablets. And I will show you one of them. They come individually wrapped. So each tablet is wrapped individually. And there you can see. So there is one dishwasher tablet. So normally you will put this in the machine and then you will start the machine, and this will help to clean your dishes. We call them dishwasher tablets. However, please don't eat them. I know some people have been eating these. Don't eat them. Please don't eat these. You will become very sick. Your own surface cleaner is ecological. Yes, we often get all of our things from the same company. So things that don't have any poisons and things that don't harm your skin. Because my skin is very sensitive. Can you see? Look, can you see my skin? It is so So sensitive. Ah, Mr. Duncan's sensitive skin. My skin is very sensitive. So that's the reason why we have ecological cleaner and washing up liquid. So it isn't just kind to the environment, it's also kind to my hands. The final thing before we go, and we will be going in a moment, here is another thing. In fact, we have 2 more things to show you. Oh, Mr. Duncan, that's a very interesting word. I've never seen that word before. How do you pronounce this word? I will tell you, because it's my job. We pronounce this scourer. A scourer. So if you are using a scourer, it's a great word, scourer. You scour something. It means you use force, and also you use something that is abrasive. In other words, it has sharp edges. So if you use something called a scourer, normally you are trying to get rid of something. You are trying to remove something that is difficult to get off. Scourer. And I will show you my scourer. It's a great word. So there we go. There is my scourer. And you can see it is made of metal. So this is actually metal. And it is very useful for getting burnt things off your saucepans, especially Mr. Steve, because sometimes when Mr. Steve is cooking, he does have the habit of burning things. So one of these comes in very useful. Scourer. You will use this to get rid of things that are hard to remove. I will show you the word again, because it is an unusual one. There it is. If you want to write it down and study it. I will show you a close-up of the scourer. Would you like to have a close-up? Here we go. So there is a scourer close-up. So you can see it is made of metal, very useful for getting things that are burnt and hard to remove. Scourer. I love it. I like it a lot. One more thing and then we're off. One more thing, and that thing is bleach. Now this particular thing is a miracle. I think this is the best thing in the world. You can use bleach on so many things except your clothes. Don't use it on your clothes, but you can use it for cleaning things that are hard to clean. You can use bleach. So that is probably one of the most used things in most people's houses. So you will use bleach to maybe clean your floor, or maybe clean your toilet or your bath, or maybe something that is hard to clean. So bleach is a very useful thing. And there is some bleach right now. Can you see it? Beep, beep, beep. Bleach. So bleach is very good for disinfecting. You can see there it says kills all known germs. Thick bleach. So there is the final thing that I'm showing you today. That's the last thing I have for you. I have nothing else to show you because it's almost time to go. I can't believe we've done this quite a long one today. It's been a very long live stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope all of you have enjoyed today's live stream. We are back in the studio tomorrow. The kitchen today, the studio tomorrow. It is time to go. I will say goodbye to you. Thank you very much to Nasia. Thank you very much to Ram Zanura. Thank you very much, Mr. Duncan, for your very useful lesson. I have to go now. Well, I'm going as well. Thank you very much to Skiff, Rosa, also to Seiko. Hello, Seiko. Also to Palmyra. Thank you very much for watching today. Rolfie says, your house is well equipped. I like that. So if something is well equipped, it means you are prepared for whatever happens. You are well equipped. You have everything you need to survive. You are well equipped. Thank you very much. Thanks for your company. I will see you later. Back tomorrow in the studio. And of course, tomorrow is Thursday. It is. And I will see you later. Thanks for your company. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English, saying thanks for joining me on what appears to be a very dull and misty day. It is very murky here at the moment. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Until tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK time. This is Mr. Duncan saying thanks for watching. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now.